The courtroom was suffocating with tension, my hands trembling as I began my assault testimony. Every eye was on me, yet I noticed him, my so-called friend, sitting there, smirking as if my pain was entertainment. His laugh cut through me like ice, but I forced myself to stay calm, hiding the storm brewing inside. I knew this moment would define everything. As I spoke, I silently vowed that he would not walk away unscathed. Somewhere in the back of my mind, a plan started forming, a plan that would make him regret ever mocking me. The detective presented the evidence meticulously, each document carefully revealing a hidden truth. I observed everything, feeling a surge of adrenaline as I realized the investigation was not just procedural, it was my chance to strike back. His smirk faltered slightly, a flicker of uncertainty in his eyes, though he tried to maintain composure. I subtly locked eyes with the detective, a silent understanding passing between us. Soon, the tables would turn, and justice would be delivered. The courtroom felt heavier, as if holding its breath in anticipation of the reveal. Suddenly, the detective unveiled documents exposing his betrayals, emails, secret messages, evidence of manipulations I never knew existed. Gasps filled the room. The air shifted. My tormentor's confident mask began to crack. I watched him squirm, realizing for the first time that the tables had turned completely. Panic flashed across his face, but he remained silent, trapped in the snare of his own deceit. Each revelation sent waves of shock through the courtroom, but internally, I felt a quiet thrill. The man who had mocked my suffering was finally facing the mirror of his actions. Witnesses whispered, lawyers leaned forward, and the judge's gaze sharpened. His attempts to defend himself faltered as every statement, every piece of evidence, worked against him. The detective highlighted his unethical schemes with surgical precision, layer by layer, leaving no room for doubt. I sat there, calm yet exhilarated, watching the suspense build. Every eye in the courtroom was riveted on him. This was the moment he realized he could no longer manipulate anyone. The web he had spun was now strangling him. I felt a sense of vindication I had never imagined. Then, the detective dropped the most devastating piece of all. Personal correspondence revealing not just betrayal, but premeditated attempts to ruin my credibility and manipulate witnesses. The courtroom erupted in murmurs of disbelief. My adversary's composure crumbled with each passing second, his smug confidence replaced by stark terror. I observed every micro-expression, fear, guilt, panic, savoring the poetic justice unfolding. This was no ordinary courtroom drama. This was the climax of years of silent suffering and careful planning, and it was finally his turn to experience humiliation in its rawest form. His defenses collapsed entirely. His words sounded hollow, weak, incapable of countering the mountain of evidence. Every objection failed, every attempt to shift blame fell flat. The courtroom watched, captivated by his unraveling, as I silently witnessed the full measure of justice. The detective's calm authority amplified the tension, creating a pulse-pounding atmosphere. Every second felt like an eternity. I had anticipated this moment for so long, and now, the satisfaction was palpable. The man who had laughed at me was gasping under the weight of truth. Then came the final blow, a video recording of him confessing to hidden schemes, unethical actions, and betrayals, broadcast in front of everyone. Eyes widened, jaws dropped. I could barely hide my satisfaction as the courtroom absorbed the shocking truth. His previous laughter, his arrogance, every ounce of mockery he had directed at me, was now reflected back on him in the most humiliating way. The suspense had peaked, the shockwave spreading through the audience. My revenge, carefully orchestrated and long awaited, had finally been executed flawlessly. The judge scrutinized his credibility, and whispers of disbelief grew louder. His arrogance and fake confidence had evaporated, leaving a vulnerable, exposed man before the court. I sat silently, feeling a surge of triumph and relief. Finally, the man who had mocked my pain was powerless, stripped of all pretension. The courtroom was alive with tension and awe, everyone grappling with the stunning reversal of roles. I realized the deep satisfaction of seeing the truth triumph, justice served without theatrics, pure and undeniable. The verdict was delivered, guilty beyond any doubt. A stunned silence, then a chorus of murmurs, rippled through the room. My adversary had lost everything, credibility, composure, and the respect he had once wielded. I exhaled, victorious yet calm. The detective gave me a subtle nod, acknowledging the truth's triumph. Every viewer in that courtroom, Every witness had witnessed the unraveling of a man who once thought he could humiliate me with impunity. The satisfaction was indescribable. Justice had its sweet, perfect moment, and I had orchestrated it flawlessly. As I walked out of the courtroom, the whispers followed him, not me. He was left humiliated, powerless, and fully exposed, while I felt an overwhelming sense of closure and empowerment. The tables had turned completely. The one who had once mocked my suffering was now a cautionary tale of arrogance and betrayal. Justice, patience, and meticulous planning had delivered the ultimate reckoning. This was more than a victory. It was a life-altering moment that taught me the power of perseverance, resilience, and the quiet strength of truth, finally triumphant in the most dramatic fashion possible.